Welcome to the University of Hertfordshire, a community nestled in green spaces just north of London. So, where exactly are we? We have two campuses in Hatfield. Getting here is an absolute breeze. We are a 25-minute train ride from London's King's Cross station, and we have direct rail links from Stevenage, Welwyn Garden City, Cambridge and North London. Uno, your university bus service, ensures you can get to campus easily, whether that's from Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire or North London. Discounted fares on the whole of the Uno network and a free shuttle between campuses means it's not just a bus, it's your ticket to independence, exploration and adventure. We are very well connected via the M25 and A1M if you choose to drive. Our nearby park and ride is super convenient, and we also have limited on-campus parking. So, whether you are coming by train, bus or by car, getting here couldn't be easier. Join us at the University of Hertfordshire, where ideas move at a different pace.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another live session from the stable of EN Global Education Limited. Like we did last week with a different university, we are coming on live today with University of Hertfordshire. We are going to be talking about University of Hertfordshire today, and I believe you all have one or two things you would like to know about University of Hertfordshire. We'll be talking about the intake available for the year. We're talking about the particular intake we are currently recruiting for, and we'll talk about the subsequent intake as well, the entry requirements, and I'll be having this session with no other person than the popular, most known Omobi. Once you see Omobi, you are seeing University of Hertfordshire. So I believe each and every one of you must have heard one or two things about her. She's so lively, so lovely, she's so accommodating, and she's always ready to answer all your questions. So briefly, let me just talk about EN Global Education Limited. EN Global Education Limited is a licensed recruitment agency. We are licensed to recruit students into the United Kingdom who wants to go for purposely studying alone, who wants to go and study in United Kingdom. So we have offices around the world, in Nigeria, in South Asia, in Dubai, and in the United Kingdom. In Nigeria, particularly, we have 3 offices, one in Lagos, one in Abuja, and one in Ibadan. We are currently open to the number 4 office in Nigeria, which will be commencing next year at Port Harcourt. So these are the steps we are taking so that you can know that you are dealing with a registered, a well-known organization that you can actually trust with your application process. So this afternoon, we are going to be having Omobi on the show. Good afternoon, Omobi.
Good afternoon, Akim. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone on this live session. I'm so excited to be here with EN Global. And like Akim said, my name is Bolanle, but I just love to be addressed as Omobi. And I've been with the university close to 9 years. So I usually say that once I say anything about the university, I'm like an authority, for the university, for Nigeria and Ghana. And of course, like Akim introduced EN Global is one of our recognized agents. They have worked with the university for a long time now, and they work across all globe. So they are trusted agents. So if you have any issues, always go to them. They will be more than happy to support you. So I'm here to talk about the University of Hertfordshire. And EN Global has given me a list of things I'm supposed to be talking about. So it's going to be the university location. I do not know if you also the video that played earlier. That was an amazing video from the University of Hertfordshire. That 45 seconds video shows you everything you need to know about the university, the different campuses we have. And we have 2 campuses. We have the College Lane campus, and then we have the De Havilland campus. Regardless of the place that you're studying, whether you're on De Havilland campus or College Lane, is like 5 minutes apart. So students shouldn't worry about, I'm in this campus, and then my friend is in the other campus. You can always meet up. It's just 5 minutes work, and we have an Uno bus that commutes every 10 minutes, and it's absolutely free of charge for every international student. So that's it about the university location. 2 locations. We have the De Havilland campus, and then we have the College Lane campus. At the University of Hertfordshire, one of the things I say to people is we offer virtually everything. So we have over 144 courses that you can choose from the university, from the School of Business, School of Life and Medical Science, School of the School of Physics, Engineering, and Computer Science. We call it SPECS, and the SPECS school just opened one of the most amazing campuses that we just had, with so much invested in that. We have the School of Creative Art, we have the School of Education, and then we have the Hertfordshire Law School, which is, by the way, named after a Nigerian at the university. So that is the School of Studies that we have. And in each of the School of Studies, we have different courses. So I'll give an example. For the School of Business, we have International Business, Business Management, MSc Management, artificial, what's it called? Business Analytics and Consultancy, Human Resources. So we have lots of courses under each individual courses. So for the School of Computer Science, take for instance, that's the SPECS, Physics, Engineering, Computer Science, and engineering. We have computer science, artificial intelligence and robotics, software system, everything you need to know, civil engineering, communication and information engineering, cybersecurity, aerospace engineering, aerospace systems, and management. So we have a lot that you can choose from the School of SPECS. And then under the School of Law, we have LLM Law, LLB Law, Accelerated Law. So accelerated law are for people who want to do law as a second degree. I studied law myself, and I understand that when I was in the university back in the days, we had some old people like in their 60s, 70s coming to study law because they've always had passion to be called lawyers. And the good thing about in Nigeria, you have to still study your law regardless of how many years you've spent. You still have to study law for about 5 years, and 1 year law school. That's a total of 6 years. But if you come to the University of Hertfordshire and you have done a first degree, you need to only study law for 2 years. That's accelerated, which is amazing. You still have to cover all the courses, the modules that you do if you're doing it back home. And with the accelerated law, student can still go to Nigerian law school. So it's a win-win for a student. Now, under the School of Education, we have MA Education, we have environmental education, we have learning disability education, so we have a lot. Under the School of Creative Art, we have MA Journalism, Public Relations and International Digital Communication, MA Public Relations and Digital Communication. So those are the courses we have under the Creative Arts. And so that's it. And then under the School of Life and Medical Science, we have things like sustainable and environmental management, transport planning, and all of the environmental management courses under the School of Life and Medical Science. We have one more school that it's not listed here because it's not. So that's the School of Social Nursing and Social Works. Now, that school is one of our bestseller because virtually everybody wants to come to that unit to school to study nursing. So under the School of Nursing, we have adult nursing, we have child nursing, we have learning disability nursing, we have mental health nursing, and then we have social works. Now, this course only runs in September. It doesn't run in January. So if you're looking at coming in September 2025, then that's the course for you. If you have a 2-1, regardless of the background that you've studied, we will take you for any of our adult nursing courses. But you need to have a 2-1 to be able to get onto that course. But if you have a 2-1 in any other, if you have, take for instance, sciences, like maybe you've done chemistry, you've done, all of the core science courses, you can actually take it even if you have a 2-2. You just need to have experience in the healthcare sector, followed by a work experience reference letter to be submitted with you. So that's it about the courses we have at the University of Hertfordshire. Now, the next thing on my list is the tuition fee. Right. For the tuition fee at the University of Hertfordshire, tuition fee is pretty much flexible. It's an average tuition fee and it's £16,450 payable in up to 3 installments, right? £16,450. It's payable in up to 3 installments. And what it means is that as a Nigerian student, you can actually go ahead, to make an application, get an offer letter, and go and pay 5,000 as your initial deposit. Now, what we do for Nigerian students, Akim, I'm not sure if I'm only addressing Nigerian students here. Can you let me?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to know, because we have some flexibility for Nigerian students, and I do not want a situation where I am saying it out for other regions and I get myself in trouble. All right. Okay, so I'll go back. So for Nigerian students,
alone.
fantastic. So for Nigerian students, you can pay as little as, to hold your space, you can pay as little as £1,000 just to hold your space. Now, one of the things I say to the students is, for January intake, we would not encourage students to pay as little as £1,000 because we have a very short period between January and September. And if you're saying that we want to pay 1,000 and then you need to get your CAS, and CAS, so we start issuing CAS. We're starting to issue CAS on Monday, so you have to wait until you pay the remaining 4,000 to get your CAS. So as long as you've paid £5,000, we'll move you to the next stage. Now, the next payment for people coming in January will be in April. Now, if you go to the university's website, it says that you have to pay 65% by the enrollment. But for Nigerian students, there's sort of flexibility because of the currency situation we found ourselves in Nigeria. So for us as a university, we hear the cry of people, and then we take it on board and help the students to make things better. So once you pay 5,000, you can enroll, right? And then after 3-4 months, you pay 65%, and then you pay full fees by April of next year. Now, because of the flexibility of tuition, we also encourage students to start early so that they can get some sort of scholarships from us. So if a student if you pay your initial deposit, you automatically get £2,000 off your tuition fee, right? You automatically get £2,000 off your tuition fee, which is amazing for an international. And one of the things I do is I try to calculate how much is £2,000 right now. It's over 4 million naira. Over 4 million naira. And if students decide to say, I want to pay my full tuition fee on or before enrollment, you get extra £1,000. So it means a total of £3,000. But if you say, okay, I don't want to pay all my tuition fee and I just want to stick with 5,000, you get your 2,000. But you need to pay your fees on or before the end of November to benefit from that. Do you understand? You need to pay on or before the end of November to benefit from that. So with that, it just makes life easy. Now, as a university, we always support the agent, we support the student as much as possible to make things for you. And that's why we have EN Global who would always come to us to ask for requests, get us to get things done for you, and we get it done as much as possible. Now, what are the entry requirements for our courses? Just so that I mentioned, like I spoke to you about nursing. Nursing fees is different. The fees for nursing, we don't have nursing in January, so I really don't want to mention nursing here. But if you're coming in September, the fees will increase. So what the fees I'm giving you now is for January intake. Now in September, there might be a slight increase. I cannot guarantee that yet. I can't confirm it, but there might be a slight increase in September. Now, in all of our courses, only nursing and social works do not give any form of discounts. Now, you guys will wonder, why would you not give us discount? Are we not also students? Now, the reason is we under how would I call it? We under price for nursing. So for nursing, the university has to pay NHS for your placement. The university has to pay a whole lot of things. And at the end of the day, we're always running as a loss for nursing. But we do it because we love students coming in to do nursing. And by the way, our nursing is like number 2 in the UK. Our social works is like number 2 in the UK. We're really top notch for nursing and social work. And that's why we do not offer scholarship. And that cost is always a sold out course. Like people always sell it out. And so the university just assumes, oh, people are always coming. Why do we need to increase it or give scholarships in this instance? If we want to ever give scholarship, we would have to increase the fees. Do you understand? And then give the scholarship and then we're at par. But we don't want to do that for internationals. So that's why we're going to stick to that. For undergraduate, the fees is £15,500. Any student coming for undergraduate, you get £2,000 every year for 3 years. That is amazing. 3 years, £2,000 off. That's a total of £6,000 if you're doing undergraduate with the university. £6,000 is about 13 point something million right now. So it's a whole lot of money that you'll get off your tuition fee if you're coming to the University of Hertfordshire. What are the documents required, depending on the course you're coming for? So I'm going to give you an example of the entry requirement for undergraduate. I'll give you the entry requirement for postgraduate, right? For undergraduate, student will need to have done a foundation year, right? Either you've done foundation year, you've done A-levels, or you have your OND or a diploma from Nigeria or anywhere in the world. So if you have your WAEC result alone, you wouldn't be able to come to us to do foundation. You would have to go through what we call the Hertfordshire International College, which is a pathway for the university. I'm sure that EN Global would help you with that. But if you already have your OND, your OND, your foundation, or your A-levels or a diploma, we need those results with your WAEC result, your academic reference letter, your personal statement. Now, personal statement is an integral part of your application. That's what the admissions team will look at before making a decision on whether or not to give you an offer letter. So it's very, very important that you take note of that. So that one. Number two, you also need to, another thing you need to show is your passport, your international passport. You need to show your reference, academic, and it's either your academic or your professional reference. And then you need to show your updated CV. Once you have all those documents, make your application, and then we'll be able to get you. Take note, you do not need an IELTS as long as you have a credit in English in your WAEC or your NECO, except you are doing social work. Social work is the only course that we require IELTS and physiotherapy. For every other course, we do not require IELTS. Now, if you're doing your postgraduate study, we need to see your personal statement, like I said earlier, is an integral part of your application, your personal statement. Number two thing that we need to show will be your degree results, your academic transcript. So it could be your statement of results or your notification of results or your degree certificate, followed by your academic transcript, right? Your WAEC results, you need to have an English in WAEC results or your NECO, at least a credit in English. You need to show your references, professional and academic reference. Professional, I'm emphasizing professional and academic. What is a professional reference? Professional reference is a reference you get from your place of work, current place of work, or your past place of work. So take, for instance, if you work with EN Global, your professional reference will come from EN Global to say that, hi, this is Omobi. I'm referencing Omobi. She had worked with us. She's fit to go on to study and all of that. Excuse me. Right. So that's the professional reference. Now, your academic reference on the other part is the reference from your university, from your lecturer. It could be from your HOD, it could be from your lecturer, it could be from your dean, it could be from anybody, as long as the person is coming from the university. Now, take note that either the professional or academic reference that you're submitting both need to come from needs to be on a letter-headed paper. It's very, very essential that it's on letter-headed paper. It has to be signed. It has to be signed. It has to be on the letter-headed paper. We need your CV. Please make sure it's updated. We need to see your the passport, your international passport. Those are the core documents that we need to see when you're making an application. Once you have all those documents, please proceed to EN Global. They'll help you to file your application. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about will be accommodation. One of the things I encourage students to do is stay on campus accommodation. No matter how frustrated you think it is to stay on campus, it is still a better option than going to live off campus. Now, we have several kinds of accommodation on campus. We have on-campus accommodation on College Lane and they have land campus. It doesn't matter where the accommodation is, and it doesn't matter where your course of study is. Like I said earlier, it's just a 5 minutes to work, and then you can always commute using the Uno bus at absolutely no cost. Now, if you stay on campus accommodation, students can choose to stay on accommodation as cheap as 520 £2 in a month, or as cheap as 675, or as cheap as 750, or as high as 1,200. So it depends on what you choose for yourself. Now, I encourage Nigerian students to be fast in booking accommodation. I cannot emphasize enough about applying early. I'll tell you a quick story. For people that went in September, I kept telling them, go book on campus accommodation. It's cheaper, it is saner, it is. I even brought somebody from an accommodation team to come and speak to Nigerian students. But guess what? Nigerian students, as we always do. I too know some students went to book off-campus accommodation and all, because some students said, you know what, it's better off-campus. Now, you know what has been happening in the last 2 weeks? So many students are now coming to me to say that, Bolanle, can we please get on-campus accommodation? We know you warned us, but we didn't listen. Unfortunately, I went to accommodation and they said that it's too late because it's now all sold out except the very expensive ones. All right? Now, why is it sold out? Because some other regions are so smart that they take the accommodation, they quickly take the cheaper accommodation without struggling. Now, students are saying it's too cold outside, it's expensive to pay bills, it's expensive to pay to heat their house because it's very cold in the UK now. And so it's just an example. And when I say to students, pick things, get things done, please do not always think that we're not telling you the right thing. Accommodation is as cheap as 520 if you're staying on campus. It can go high, but if you apply early, you get a room that you can share accommodation with another student, right? All this is inclusive of bills, all the bills, television bill, television license, utility bills, telephone bills, internet, everything is all inclusive. What else are students looking for? Please choose on-campus accommodation. You cannot, however, book on-campus accommodation if you have not already been academically firm. What it means is that you already have your offer letter and you have paid your fee. Once you've paid your fees, you'll be able to book an accommodation. Level of study. So at the university, we have undergraduate and then we have postgraduate studies. If you want to do pre-masters, you have to go through HIC. Now, who are the people that get onto pre-masters? People who had either done HND and want to, top up to do pre-masters, or people who, already have finished university and finished with a third class and they can't get into direct masters to some of the courses. They can do pre-masters to get into the desired course of their choice. Now, one thing that we do at the University of Hertfordshire is we've been very flexible enough with entry requirements. So if you have a third class tick, for instance, we wouldn't say because you have a third class, we won't give you a space. So with a third class, you can do our direct master. So you can do this 5 courses if you have a third class. Either you're taking MSc management with sustainability, MSc management with digital marketing, MSc management with supply chain, if you have a third class, right? Another thing we've now introduced is if you have a third class and you've studied law, like Omobi studied law, and you have a third class, we will take you directly for LLM law. So you don't need to think about doing MSc management if you have a background in law. Sorry, I'm trying to speak to my director. He just sent me a message. So we'll take you to LLM law. Do you understand? Another good news is that if you have HND, rather than you with your HND go on to do pre-masters, one of the things I believe is with pre-masters, you're spending too much money to just do pre-masters. That makes no sense to me, right? So what I say to Nigerian students is, okay, so I went to the university and said that with HND, can we get a course that allows students to come in to do that direct masters? And they head to our request. And so we have HND, you would be able to do our outdoor environmental education. It was the best sellout for us in September 2023, which was the first cohort. We had about 35 students. In September this year, we also had about 38 students that came in for that course. So if you have HND, we'll take you for that course. Another thing that I've been able to get approval from today, just before, and I'm going to be saying this live, is if you have students with HND and they want to do another course that is not outdoor environmental education, we would now take them for MSc management. We're starting it in January. We're doing a trial section. So we're waiting for them to give us the entry requirements. Maybe they want to have a upper credit or, something with work experience. They've not given the entry requirement. They'll come, once they give me the entry requirement, I would send like a notification to the agents that all of this information. So yes, for the university, we'll always take you guys. We always have something for everybody. The reputation for the University of Hertfordshire. University of Hertfordshire is one of the we're top 50 out of 200 universities in the UK, which means that we're up there. We are known for our teaching excellence framework. We are gold. Now, when you hear that a university is gold for teaching excellence framework, it means that we are at the topmost of the teaching. Now, for the University of Hertfordshire, we are more of a teaching university than a research university. And that's why when you look at the rating, the ranking, you might not find us in the top 20 or top 30 for ranking. Now, ranking is based on research. We're not a research university. We're a teaching university. And that's why even when you see the schools that are top 10, top 20, go and look at their teaching excellence is either silver or bronze. But for the university, we are gold. That means we're up there for teaching. We have been in this, we've worked, we've had the international recruitment for a long time. And like I said, I've worked with the university. I'm going to be officially 9 years by the 2nd of January 2025. 9 years working with the University of Hertfordshire. And for us, our reputation is top-notch. We're like the highest seller in Nigeria. Nigeria for the University of Hertfordshire is the highest recruiter. Even in this terrible economic that we're still the highest recruiter. And we are same in majority of our sending markets. In Bangladesh, in India, in Pakistan. I'm sure that EN Global would say that in Bangladesh, we're the highest recruiter. We're like that because of what we have to offer to international students. So if you're thinking in a university to study in the UK, think University of Hertfordshire. By the way, we're only 25 minutes by train from central London. It means that you are studying outside London, but you are practically like in London. And for the living expenses, the UKVI is now saying that from 2nd of January 2025, student will need to show more money in terms of living expenses. It means student will need to show £1,136 every month, and that will be £10,224. That's a lot of money from January. But for now, you still need to show 9,207 as long as you pay, you make your visa application on or before the 1st of January, right? So I'd encourage everybody to act fast so that by December, you're able to apply for visa and you're able to move to the next stage. Our employability rate at University of Hertfordshire is high. It's at 96.7. Record high 96.7. It means that most of our students are in jobs or they're in other courses or employment within 3 months of graduation. And as you know, there's post-study work in the UK. So when you graduate, you automatically get your post-study work visa, and then you can switch category if you have, a COS from them to switch category. Living expenses, like I said, for University of Hertfordshire is 9,207. But from 2nd of January 2025, it would increase to 10,224. Now, this is different. This is more cheaper than people studying in London that would need 13,347. If a student done, it is 13,347. That's a whole lot of money that they require. Do you understand, when they're coming in? And you're just like 25 minutes by train from central London. So how cool is that for the university? So please make sure that you go in, apply early, and you don't have any issues, so you can get your visa before January. So that's it. For our student support, we're top notch for student support. If you ask anybody that have studied at the University of Hertfordshire, they'll tell you that UH is like number one for student satisfaction. We've been on the number one radar for student satisfaction because we have everybody supported. I'm here doing live sessions. I do live session on my Instagram. The university does live session like every other week. just so that we can support international students. When you come in, we have like a unit, a support unit that is there to, and we call them the pastoral unit, that is there to your hands from when you get in. So that is it about the University of Hertfordshire. I'll go ahead to take all your questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Omobi, for the wonderful presentation and session for thoroughly going into the nitty-gritty that has to do with University of Hertfordshire. I believe each and every one of us has learned one or two things. Um, if you want to study at University of Hertfordshire, you know the entry requirements, you know the documents to prepare, and you know the courses available, and you have an idea of the average tuition fee, except for social work and nursing, according to what Omobi has said. And let me re-emphasize this. Omobi has clearly said that nursing and social work does not have discounts. And there is a reason for that, because you have a lot of opportunities studying those courses, coming to University of Hertfordshire to study those two courses. So, going to the questions, I'll first ask my own question before going to the question from the student watching. So, my question is, please, I really want you to explain the payment plan again in a very simple term. You know, Nigerians, they can turn things around. So I really want you to do that again, maybe using a Nigerian language that we understand very well. This is how you pay your
Okay.
fee after deposit.
Okay. So for Nigerian student, and I'm specific about Nigeria, what I'm saying, you would not find it on the website. The reason why you will not find it on the website is because it doesn't apply to every other region, and we don't want to confuse people. So as a Nigerian student, you pay £5,000, £5,000, right? You will get to school, you would enroll. Nobody is going to chase you up to come and pay any money. After 3 months of enrollment, that's in April 2025, you need to pay 65% fees, right? 65% of your tuition fee. Now, one of the things that I encourage students to do is, you might not want to wait until April to pay the 65%. Days where you have £200 paid to your account, days where you have £500 paid, so that it reduces the money, so it doesn't choke you as a student, because I know it can be very choking when student coming. Do you understand? You pay in bits and just make sure that your payment is done by the liability date. Because if it's not done by the liability date, student will be locked out from the study net. Now, when student gets locked out from the study net, you will not be able to submit your assignments, do your exams, or take classes. We don't want you to go through that. And then you would have to pay the 100% of your fees by August 2025. Now, I'm going to, as I've explained this to you, I'm going to tell you how it works in other regions. And I'm sure Ian Global would say this, that this happened. So in other regions, including the region that I oversee, which is Ghana, if they pay 50%, if they pay 5,000 now, they have to pay 65% when they are enrolling. Nigerian students, you are not paying anything till April. Other students will have to pay by January the 6th. So you see, we've given you 3 months within which you can pay your fees because of our current economic situation in Nigeria, right? And that is a hard nut to crack. I mean, you can't even find it anywhere. And that's one of the things that we've done for the university. It's hard not to crack from every other person, but Nigeria, we're extremely flexible with that. Do you understand? And so it's 5,000, 65% in April, and full payment in August of 2025.
Okay,
Is that
thank you for
clear?
that. Yeah, very clear to me, and I believe the people following too have it's very clear to them. So, what Amobi has said is that after your deposit of £5,000, then after 3 months, you are expected to pay 65% of your balance. 65% of your balance. Then in August, for those going for January 2025 intake, in August 2025, you are supposed to have cleared up your total tuition fee balance. I believe that is what you said. Omobi.
Yes.
Yeah. So moving to the question from the student following us. I have a question here that says, okay, I think you've been able to answer it. Say, please explain the payment plan again for Nigerians. You have done that. You have done that.
Yeah.
Do you accept Benin Republic certificates?
Okay, so as a university, we used to accept it until NARIC, ENIC says Benin Republic certificate is classified as level 5. So we need students to do the level 6, which is the final year of undergraduate, for them to be able to do their masters. One of the things I tell to people with Benin Republic certificate is if they can, let them do pre-masters here in Nigeria. They could go to National Open University or any of these universities, take 1 year or 9 months, and then come on to do direct masters. One of the things we're also looking at, and I sent an email just for a student before we started this live session. I've not checked the response, as we might be looking at it on a case-by-case basis. Do you understand? We can. So now I'm just going to read the response. My colleague just responded. He says we can consider Benin Republic on a case-by-case basis on work experience and their degree. Has the students of so we need like a lot of work experience to be able to consider it. So please make sure to tell students. So if they have it, they can't. It's on a case-by-case basis, but we need like real good work experience, preferable managerial experience.
Okay, that has been perfectly answered. Okay, the next question says, please, man, does the school accept direct master with HND? She has answered that question.
Yes, Craig, yes, we would accept. With HND, yes, we would accept a course called MSc Outdoor Environmental Education, which is like a very great seller right now. It's one of the top-notch seller we have. And then we're now looking at putting another course called the MSc Management onto that course. So yes, we have something for everybody.
Okay, the next question says, is the foundation year program available for January intake?
Yes, Oye foundation year is available for January intake. It's January, but you have to apply through HIC. We won't take it directly with us. You have to go through HIC to make an application for that.
Okay. So what HIC means is University of Hertfordshire International College for those watching.
Yes.
So you have to apply through the college. How much is the accommodation on campus?
So accommodation on campus varies. So we have accommodation as little as 520 in a month, and it goes as high as 1,100 or 1,200. So everybody, you have we have accommodation for everybody. The point is you have to apply early so that you can get the very cheap ones.
Okay. Why do you ask students for deposit as a conditional stage, upper stage? Okay.
Mohammed, the reason why we always ask for deposit at the initial stage is so that we can move the student to the next stage. Without tuition deposits, student cannot be unconditional because we need to move them to getting onto our call campaign. We need to interview them before we issue CAS letter. We would not give any CAS letter if students have not paid fees. So deposit is a prerequisite.
Okay. Does Hertfordshire accept NAPTEP as English requirement?
Yes, we do. So if you have a student that has NAPTEP and you make an application and the student is probably rejected or requested to do an IELTS, please go to EN Global, they'll come to me and I'll get a result for you. But make sure that the student is we're able to verify the NAPTEP. It's very important. So the scratch card for verification is important.
Okay, the next question is, for nursing students who are studying in Nigeria, can the student go for MSc program in health-related courses without asking to do any foundation first?
Absolutely, Madonna. So for nursing, you've done your first degree, which is amazing. As long as you've done your first degree from a recognized university. So take, for instance, you did your BSc nursing at any university in Nigeria, you'll be able to come without a foundation. Or you can do any other health-related course if you so wish. But if you have done, take, for instance, you went to nursing, just School of Nursing, right? You would need to, if you just went to School of Nursing, then you at advised to do your undergraduate in nursing at the university rather than doing masters. And I need to make it clear here. For nursing, undergraduate is 3 years. For postgraduate is 2 years.
Okay. Are nursing students expected to write IELTS?
No, as long as you have a credit in English in your WAEC or NECO, you do not need it. But if you're doing social works, it is very, very important that you write IELTS at 7.0.
All right. Thank you very much, Omobi, for coming on this session. Before you can get Omobi on session like this, you have to be very, you have to try and try and try and try. So it's an opportunity for you guys. We have been able to bring Omobi to the show so that you all can learn and you all can start your application process. I'm telling you, this is something you get once in a year. Once you're bringing Omobi to a live session like this, it's something you can easily just once in a year. So I believe you have all learned one or two things and you know the entry requirements, the requirements you needed when you want to go to the University of Hertfordshire. And I believe application will start popping in for the January intake. And you guys on conditional offer stage, you can start proceeding to paying your deposit, secure your offer, secure your spot. So Omobi, I really want to appreciate you for coming on this session. We at EN Global really appreciate your presence this evening. Thank you for showing up for us. Any departing word from you?
Thank you so much. It's an amazing session. I love this session. And it just gives gives students, the idea of what it is that we offer at the university. I'm always open to, attend sessions with people, with agents, especially my recognized agent. So thank you to the team of EN Global team for having me on your session today. And do not forget, I'm going to be live. So for just to mention, for everybody coming to the University of Hertfordshire, I do live sessions once in a month. But I'm going to be doing like a visa counseling on Friday. So Akim, you can tell all your students who have made an application. That way they can make a decision on what school they want to go at that time. So I'm going to be taking them through visa counseling on Friday at 8 p.m. on my Instagram IG. I'm sure you have the IG. So I'm not going to mention it here. You can tell them.
All right. Thank you very much, Omobi, for coming on this session. So from all of us at EN Global, we say thank you. Thank you to all our students that have joined. So we see you next week, Thursday, for another wonderful session. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.